2021 18th Nigerian Youth Organization Conference reaffirms commitment to the Nigerian project. Chamba Socio-Cultural Association initiates poverty alleviation and empowerment program. And today is Awareness Day for support of persons living with sickle cell anemia.
Thanks for joining us on the news at 1 on NTA Channel 5 Abuja, the Unity Station. I am Aisha Oba-Ali. A group of Nigerian women have reiterated their desire to play active part in nation building. The women who converged on Abuja also discussed the place of Nigerian women in politics. Windogo report that they expressed the belief that they can play very vital roles if given the opportunity. The report.
The event, which is tagged The Power of Hope Again for Nigerian Women in Politics, seeks to tackle the issues that confront their involvement in politics. The convener, Dr. Dayo Benjamin Slani, emphasized things that would foster the growth and success of Nigerian women in their quest to contribute their quota to the development and growth of the country.
Bring together that which is the applause of our voices of affirmative validation, not just for government, but for governance, and the power of our dreams as Nigerian women in politics and in Nigerian political space. We have hope again, and by the power of hope again, we also have a mentor, Her Excellency the First Lady, Her Excellency the distinguished Senator Oluremi Tinubu, as a parliamentarian for the first time in history in the seat and in the office of First Lady. We have expectations that without question shall bring the manifestation of not just that which is parliamentarian, but for every woman in every community, the policy and the law of her distinction.
Okay. The event had in attendance dignitaries who are active in Nigeria's political space. In Abuja, Wayne Dogo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Chamba Social Cultural Group in diaspora is looking to promote social engagement for welfare, motivation, and involvement in self-help. To this effect, the association is promoting the T.Y. Anjuma Foundation for Poverty Alleviation and Empowerment Program. Onoti Yagubu brings us insights of the one-day seminar project launched by the Northeast Tribe in Abuja.
Cultural ambience of the Lera traditional dance and nostalgia traveled thousands of kilometers to bring home to the doorsteps of these Chamba ambassadors gathered in this hall in Abuja. A first of such initiative in diaspora, the unique caps, national colors, and food speaks volume to the recognition of the values they hold dear. But beyond the dance steps, there is a vision to promote and protect economic fortunes of Chamba people globally, as well as initiate platforms to strengthen, protect, and promote her integrity.
You must be our brothers' keepers. And if we are our brothers' keepers, then we know exactly what to do. And there are certain procedures that we must also follow.
It's a grant. We gave them with terms and conditions that they should not just go and squander it. Make sure that you improve your living condition.
The Chamba in diaspora, they have children, probably even grandchildren, don't speak the language, don't even know the direction of if you like, the home. And so that must change.
Hamid Jadambolo is amongst 106 pioneer Chamban in diaspora to benefit from the empowerment grant for self-reliance financed by General T.Y. Danjuma.
It came at the right time where it matters much. In fact, most of us in the village were even circled by poverty.
My prayer is in 2 years' time, by the grace of God, I also want to empower someone.
The Poverty Alleviation Empowerment Seminar is targeted to develop Chamba indigents such as Hamid with origins spread across Adamawa and Taraba states, Ghana, Cameroon, and Togo, amongst other West African countries. In Abuja, Onotu Yakubu, NTA News.
And to traditional institution, the Association of Wives of FCT Traditional Rulers has expressed determination to chart a way forward on issues of gender-based violence and other injustices to rural women, urging all stakeholders to deliberate and review the laws to help victims and women in the FCT. Hawa Gimba has the details.
The campaign against gender-based violence by FCT Traditional Rulers Wives Association began 2 years ago with the mission to help indigenous women in the FCT to voice out whenever they have been victimized or issues of gender violence occurs. Seated here are traditional chiefs from the 6 area councils, stakeholders, as well as civil society organizations, reviewing the laws that will help the FCT indigenous women. Some members who are in support for the new laws to be enacted says it will help FCT indigenous women even after going through traditional justice laws.
This is the first of its kind in FCT for the wives of the traditional rulers to come together in achieving a tangible goal. Therefore, in our own side as an administration, we are obliged.
But we are just observing as a little gap, because when you are a victim, you undergo a lot of trauma. We realize that the victims need to have people who are specially trained.
I think we should uphold the VAP Act, and then if truly they cannot afford the fee, they can approach the Legal Aid Council.
Wife of Sapei, Hanatu Unga, says after deliberations, the outcome will be delivered to FCT indigenous women, especially in the grassroots.
But we are trying to see how they can amend to human rights.
It is expected that with proper scrutiny of the laws for indigenous women, the association will come up with a new bill to stop such native and unscrupulous practices against indigenous women. Hawagimba NT.
Meanwhile, a book titled Polygamy with Mercy, a synopsis on plural marriage according to Islamic law, has been presented to the public. Hawa Gimba again reports that Muslim Ummah are advised to practice polygamy with love and total submission to the will of Allah.
Marriages as a union are distinct or varied depending on the traditions, religion, and culture. The initiative of the book on polygyny is expected to open up new information and intellectual discourse on the contentious subjects. The 336-page book titled Polygyny with Mercy is a remedy for all the misconceptions, misinformation, exaggeration, and corruption that have trailed the topic polygyny. The author, Abdul Latif Lanre Abdullah, says the book is to provide a balanced approach to polygyny.
It is also important for me to say that this book is not just for the Muslims, because in the book I discussed the other perspective, from the Christian perspective, from the Judeo-Christian perspective in particular.
Book reviewers say Chapter 1 of the book centers on marriage in Islam. The Chapter 2 emphasizes polygyny in general perspective, while Chapter 4 captured contemporary issues, stating from polygyny a favor to man and women against women, as well as dealing with co-wife.
This book is going to solve that problem, why people will begin to see clearly how they can be properly guided on matters of a polygyny.
Those you call girlfriends and mistresses, they are the one making the man to commit adultery, which is forbidden by Almighty God.
Some speakers acknowledged that the book is written in an evidence-based style that leaves one intellectually convinced, even if one's emotions may think otherwise. Hawagimba, NTA News.
Looking at youth issues, members of the Nigerian Youth Organization at their 18th Stakeholders General Assembly Conference reaffirmed their commitment to the Nigerian project, aspirations with equal opportunities for all. Abdullah Ajay reported that the group now has a new life patron.
The Nigeria Youth Organization Stakeholders General Assembly Conference, with past and present leaders in attendance, had so much to deliberate upon on the agenda, including dissolving its leadership, whose tenure has elapsed, to pave way for processes leading to an election of new executives.
One nation, we are driving towards one particular goal.
Another item dissected is the general concerns of the Nigerian youths, ranging from
You're watching the news at 1 on NTA Channel 5 Abuja, and still to come on the news. Monday, 19th June, begins at in the Islamic lunar calendar. These and more in just a moment.
Conceived with the intent to ease the flow of traffic in the nation's capital.
Whichever way it turns out, either to consolidate on the existing mandate or institute a new dispensation.
Located within the Abuja Municipal Area Council, AMAC.
How much do people know about ADR? Are charting a path to having more youth participate in governance, in addition to building young entrepreneurs.
Residents of the Federal Capital Territory are calling on the federal government to, as a matter of urgency, look into the situation.
You have to strike a balance to have a future that you don't have to regret.
Like experts say, what kills really is fear.
In Abuja,
NTA News.
Thanks for staying with us. The Sultan of Sokoto and President General Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, Muhammad Saad Abubakar III, has declared Monday 19th of June as the first day of Dhul Hijjah 1444 after Hijrah. The Sultan also declared Wednesday 28th June, which is equivalent to the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, as Eid al-Kabir Day. A statement by the Dan Hurham Sokoto Saidu Muhammad Machido for the Chairman Advisory Committee on Religious Affairs Sultanate Council Sokoto says this followed the sighting of the new moon of Dhul Hijjah 1444 after Hijrah. The Sultan facilitates with the Nigerian Muslim Ummah and urged them to continue to pray for the peace, progress and development of Nigeria. And to health now, World Sickle Cell Anemia Day is a day that gives opportunity to raise awareness and support for people living with the disease. Hadiza Godwin Ebunet in this report sought the opinion of a medical practitioner on how the condition can be managed. The report.
Sickle cell anemia is an inherited blood disorder that affects millions of people around the world. It is caused by a genetic mutation that affects the production of hemoglobin, a protein in red blood cells that carries oxygen throughout the body. In people with sickle cell anemia, the hemoglobin protein is abnormal, causing the red blood cells to become stiff and sickle-shaped. This abnormal cell can get stuck in small blood vessels, leading to pain, organ damage, and other serious complications.
Recent, people are actually able to edit the gene. People are able to visit the gene even after sickle cell has happened and find a way to re-edit the gene so that what used to be abnormal can now make something that is near normal, at least something that does not make the person to fall sick, even if it is abnormal.
Sickle cell anemia is most common in people of African descent. It is estimated that millions of people around the world are carriers of the sickle gene.
Hemoglobin F has like a precedence, in capturing and transporting oxygen, so it sort of subdue the impact of sickle cell until when hemoglobin F is wearing off completely from the body, and naturally it's supposed to wear off after that. Then sickle cell becomes a dominant one during the role, and then it now shows the physical manifestation. So people are able to go and wake up, those dormant genes, so that hemoglobin F, for example, continues to be produced.
Symptoms of sickle cell anemia can vary widely, but some of the most common include severe pain, fatigue, shortness of breath, and infections. People with sickle cell anemia are also at increased risk for stroke, organ damage, and other serious complications. Research into sickle cell anemia is ongoing, with scientists around the world working to better understand the disease and develop new treatments. Hadiza Godwin Ebuni, NTA News.
Still on health, in a thriving society longing for attention, love, care, and acceptance is imperative. Individuals, corporate bodies, and government at all levels are expected to set policies in support of people with special needs, especially children with autism. Cecilia Julius in this report x-rays the neurological disorder as the world celebrates Autistic Pride Day with the theme Transforming the Narrative, Contributions at Home, at Work, in the Art, and in Policy Making.
According to reports, Autistic Pride Day was first celebrated in Brazil in 2005. It was created by Garrett and Amy Nelson and has continued to raise awareness of autism and pinpoint similarities and differences among people with the condition. The theme focuses on the necessary change that must be brought into the narrative of autistic people so that society will be more welcoming at work and arts, as parents and caregivers advocate for empathy to combat stigma.
When I had him in 2004 and we began to see many problems, we really didn't know what to do. I have received so many negative comments. I've been abused, I've been called a witch.
I've had situations where people call my son names like he's mad because they don't understand, or that he's daft.
Without the government involvement, parents of special needs have a lot of burden. Educating them is not cheap, is not easy. They can't be included in the same school as their typical classmates. It's expensive, but if government intervenes, it becomes a lot less burdensome.
Studies show that about 110 children are diagnosed with autism. Therefore, experts maintain that children with autism eventually function and lead full lives.
Government should support parents that have autistic children, because care of autistic child is very, very enormous, and put institutional framework that will address this kind of issue, because whether we like it or not, it's here with us and it's on the increase. Preventive measures therefore involves minimize screen time, prematurity. A woman that is pregnant, they should manage the pregnancy very well so that the pregnancy can reach time. Give children natural foods as much as possible. They don't contain chemicals that could affect the function of the gut.
It is therefore important that our goal should be to treat autistic persons with respect and empathy, as well as provide equal opportunities for them in society. Cecilia Julius, NTA News.
Earlier, we introduced the 18th Stakeholders General Assembly Conference organized by a youth group. Now, Abdullahi Ajia has the details of that report.
The Nigeria Youth Organization Stakeholders General Assembly Conference, with past and present leaders in attendance, had so much to deliberate upon on the agenda, including dissolving its leadership, whose tenure has elapsed, to pave way for processes leading to an election of new executives.
One nation, we are driving towards one particular goal.
Another item dissected is the general concerns of the Nigerian youths, ranging from opportunities available for them to challenges militating against exhibiting their potentials.
Is a kind of reinvigorating the spirit of Nigeria Youth Organization. And if you look at the motto of the organization, it says to build a strong, viral and united Nigeria nation. And we want to call on the youth to galvanize them to build and reconstruct a new national spirit that can deliver the Nigeria of our collective dreams, goals and aspirations.
The youth group, in a collective decision, conferred former presidential candidate of the Action Alliance, Major Hamza Al-Mustafa, retired, with a lifetime patron of the Nigerian Youth Organization. This, the NYO says, was due to his long-time support for the actualization of the group's aspirations over the years.
The youth is where our energy was centered upon through to their leadership, him that at that time who was providing the leadership of the body, and with numerous activities they did through our direction and guidance and through to this moment. But looking at the true state of Nigeria, now the youth of this country are actually the instruments expected to change Nigeria's course for good. The youth actually is the answer. What is missing is the deficit of leadership at different tiers in Nigeria.
I guess we'll continue to promote peace and stability in Nigeria. We continue to join hands together with the government of Nigeria to make sure that the lives and property of both citizens and non-citizens of this nation are adequately protected.
The NYO said it will soon conduct an election into the various positions of the group's leadership. In Abuja, Abdullahi Ajia, NTA News.
And on sport is a very cheering news. Super Eagles are back in Nigeria after picking AFCON tickets from Morovia. Francis Kabile has details of this and more on Sports Brief.
Victorious Super Eagles, after picking the tickets to the 2023 African Nations Cup in Liberia, arrived in Nigeria Monday morning. The coach Jose Pesiri's side secured the victory after 3-2 scoreline over Sierra Leone in Liberia to guarantee their place at the African Senior Football Fiesta. Napoli and Super Eagles striker Victor Osimhen scored the brace to increase his goal tally in the competition to 7.
It's a difficult game, but we knew they were going to fight because it's the opportunity they have to qualify.
Never give up, fight it till final like us. After 0-2, Sierra Leone did a fantastic job until final.
Still on football, at least 12 countries have already qualified for the 2023 African Cup of Nations that will be hosted by Cote d'Ivoire in January next year. This follows the completion of qualifying fixtures this weekend. In Group A, Nigeria and Guinea-Bissau have booked their spots to contest for the title in Ivory Coast. Zambia joined South Africa as another COSAFA nation going to the finals. Equatorial Guinea and Egypt also qualified on March Day 5. In boxing, head of boxing Ahmed Abdallah is confident that a tournament featuring Alexandra Usyk versus Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder will hold in Saudi Arabia as planned. With Sports Brief, Francis Kabile, NTA News.
And still talking sports, FCT Football Association Chairman Mukhtar Mohammed has been re-elected to serve for the second time. He was elected unopposed during the FCT FA elections in Buhari, where the second vice chairman and 6 other board members were also elected. Francis Kabila again has details of how the process went.
In a peaceful atmosphere, delegates, observers and electoral officials converged for the day's business, with the electoral umpire assuring of a free, fair and credible process. Thereafter, after due screening of delegates, the election commenced into the respective positions. At the end of the process, Adam Mokhtar Mohammed was re-elected after unopposed, scoring 12 votes out of 12. The first Vice Chairman Saliu Kolo position, though unopposed, remains vacant as he failed to secure the highest yes vote, while John Gabaya was elected unopposed with 12 votes out of 12 as the second Vice Chairman of the FCT-FA.
We ensured that there was no external factor that influenced the process. We hope that with the new board members, football in FCT will go forward.
For the position of 6 board members, 8 contestants slogged it out, and after a keen contest, 6 emerged winners. In an interview after the election, the elected officials said they will join forces with an open-door policy to move football forward, especially grassroots football.
Do hereby declare that I will discharge my responsibilities.
Football is a continuum, but most important, let's not forget, like I always say, we need to keep the human capital development ongoing, the coaches, the referees, the administrators. We need to keep them trained and retrained. And then we need the facilities. So we need to do more in the facilities to see other area councils getting better playing facilities. And then, of course, what is football? We need the players to have the opportunities.
The main aim we are getting on board is football development.
We have a lot in mind.
The elected officials were immediately inaugurated with their certificates of return issued. In Abuja, Francisca Bile, NTA News.
And just before we go, a recap of some top stories. Nigerian Youth Organization at the 18th Assembly brainstorm on the Nigerian project, Dreams and Aspirations. We also reported that the Sultan of Sokoto has declared today, Monday 19th June, as first day of Dhul Hijjah.